So we've learned so much in our career from you.
Well, that's very flattering. I have tried to impart that, and I kind of that coach title a little bit from that. And the other thing that happened is I had these young guys. We grew. We got so many horses that I had to use that philosophy like a coach. I had to have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, and I had to have somebody to help me. And with that came a lot of teaching. And I always say, once you're a teacher, you can't help yourself. You just have to share. And so some of these guys came along, and I recruited some wonderful young guys, and they're a big part of the industry now.
So here we are again with Leading the Way podcast. Randy Hartley, Dean Derenzo, and today's guest is D. Wayne Lukas. I call him the legend. They all call him the coach on that. So Wayne, we're talking to a lot of people that don't know anything about the industry at all. So I like to tell them.
That's a large group.
That's a large group.
Yeah.
We we need to reach out to them. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I don't know. I've been in it a long time. You know, I had a birthday last 2 weeks ago, 88 years old, but I still, I'm still up every day training and
winning.
And winning a little bit. The alarm goes off at 3 a.m. every morning, and I get out there. I still feel more comfortable riding my horse than anything. And so I'm not going anywhere. And what you're doing here is, I think, significant, because I feel the older I get and the longer I've done this, the 60 some years now, I feel that probably maybe we should start giving back and sharing it. It's been a hell of a run.
It's been a heck of a run
for all of us. And we all got a story. That's one thing about racing. There's so many great stories that they need to get out there
for us to tell them all.
For sure.
But we'd like to, first thing I'd like to say is you probably don't even know how much impact you had on Randy and I's life.
Well, thank you for that.
We followed you around. We would look like stalkers. Whatever big race you were at, when Wayne's horse was in there, we were looking at that horse in the paddock.
We seen Flanders, so we got to have a Seeking the Gold.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you got to have one that looks like
that looks like her, exactly. And so we've learned so much in our career from you.
Well, that's very flattering. I have tried to impart that, and I kind of that coach title a little bit from that. And the other thing that happened is I had these young guys. We grew. We got so many horses that I had to use that philosophy like a coach. I had to have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, and I had to have somebody to help me. And with that came a lot of teaching. And I always say, once you're a teacher, you can't help yourself. You just have to share. And so some of these guys came along, and I recruited some wonderful young guys, and they're a big part of the industry now.
Oh my gosh, we were talking about that last night. Just all the guys that have come up under your, I mean, even just from like Brad Cox come from Dallas, who was
your protege,
the tree is starting to get
the branches are really growing.
Todd and just so many great trainers, and just
we were talking the other day. I think there's 13 of them.
Wow.
13 of them.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot more. And
some of them didn't, like Greg Falk and Randy Bradshaw, he trained for a while, but now they're doing other things, but they're still in the horse industry. They can't leave it.
Well, I say you're the Nick Saban of the horse industry.
Well, you're kind of say that. That's a good title.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is a good title. And so, not only making these champions, you've made trainers' lives. Todd Pletcher, they followed your cues, and you coached them through it. You coached your horses, and you coached individuals.
Well, most of them were with me around at least 10 years, and some of them, like Dallas Stewart, I think was 14 years. Mike Maker was 15 years.
Wow, yeah.
Randy Bradshaw was even longer. and they stayed because I think they realized in this industry that you can't get a crash course. It's not summer school.
Doesn't happen.
It's not summer school. And here I am, and it's 68 years now, and I wake up every day and just relish it. But all of a sudden, I see something I haven't seen before.
Right.
Yeah.
Think,
Isn't that something?
Oh my gosh. I said, here it is.
Yeah.
So there's no end to it. And they're finding that now in their own careers.
Yeah. And now they've gone from their 15 years with you to 15 years of their own, and they're 30 years into it, and they're doing the same thing, finding new things, and now they're teaching. And now
Yeah,
they're teaching.
they're sending out guys. I hope I'm in the will.
Yeah.
Well, you planted all the seeds.
Well, they
so,
made a lot of money.
You should be in that will there. That's for sure. I remember such great. I mean, you have reached levels that trainers have just dreamt to reach. Having Philly win the Kentucky Derby, having Breeders' Cup winners run their eyeballs out for you, like they wanted to succeed because
For you.
you taught them that.
Yeah. I think, though, in relating to this, that you have to go back to maybe two things: the selection process,
Right.
and the clientele that back you in that.
Yeah.
For sure.
This venue here has got to have people that are looking at them like you, the pair of you are outstanding, good eye for a horse, but you got to have somebody that at the end of the day, when you say, I like lot 264, is going to write the check.
Yeah.
He's going to write it and
gonna
believe in you. Then,
Rich?
then you
No.
then you're out there on the, then you're way out there. You got to rear back and make it work. And
it's okay to put your head on a chopping block when you have convictions that you
absolutely,
you know that's a good horse. I mean, things can happen, but you follow the protocol, and greater things happen.
I'll tell you, I give you an illustration. When I first come over from the quarter horses, I had a very good run with the quarter horses.
Right.
I did pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say pretty good.
And
I'd say.
Taught Bob a thing or two.
I came up to Saratoga, and I really liked the Aladar colt. And Aladar was the hot
horse.
sire.
Yeah.
He was the number one horse.
Right.
And I liked this Aladar colt, and I knew he was going to be high. I had no idea that the British conglomerate were going to go after him. But I watched him walk. I did everything. I went and showered the Holiday Inn, showered, came back, cowboy hat and blue jeans, sat down in there. My net worth now is about $2,000. I bid $2.2 million.
With conviction.
Yeah, you're talking about conviction. And my son said, Dad, I think you ran the red light tonight. He said, that is I was so positive that was a good horse. I got on the phone. I got 5 other people to believe in me. We named him Saratoga 6.
Oh, yeah. And he was a great horse.
Look what happened.
Yep.
Look how many people that one made happy.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh.
And
a nice sire for years.
Yeah,
For years,
really
yeah.
good sire.
And
Good
broodmare sire.
Yeah.
On that. So, I mean, all these things happen. I want to show this other side too. There's always some negative that comes out here and there. And, how about all this fantastic stuff? How about this amazing things that can happen in this industry for all of us?
You mean on a positive side?
On the positive side.
There are some.
There's way more.
It's unbelievable. You can't describe. I was thinking when I won the Kentucky Derby, I had won the first time I tried a classic was a Preakness, and I won it with a horse called Codex.
Oh, I remember him very well.
So I thought, hell, that's no big deal. I'll win some of these. And it took in 8 more years, winning colors. Both Jeff and I were so confident that she was the best horse of the year, regardless of
what
gender.
you had.
Yeah.
Right.
And when she won it, I was totally unprepared for the feeling and people just kind of picked you up. I didn't even remember going down there. I thought, holy moly! I thought we were going to win the race, and we did.
Right.
You just saw heaven.
But then all of a sudden, I thought, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like a dream.
And it carried on for years and years and years. That title of winning that with that filly, And we were lucky enough to win 3 more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were all special, every one of them. But you can't describe to the layperson, what that whole feeling is when you get there. I remember talking to Gary Player, a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
and an unbelievable golfer, won majors, all
Champion.
Yep, champion in every
Right.
right. We had a maiden filly for him, and when she went in the gate, Gary told me, he said, I was so nervous. Here's a guy that could
Yeah.
take a 2-foot putt for millions. He said, when she went in the gate, I was so excited. He said, I couldn't even hardly spell my name. He said, I never felt like that. And when she won, he said, wow, he said, this is something. And he's still in the business
Right.
today.
The high is the
It's
biggest
at the
high in the
high,
world,
yeah.
isn't it?
It's very much so. It's
And,
hard
even,
to
and
describe.
even for us, just like breezing horses at the 2-year-old sales, this is Rich's first experience this year, and we're walking up and he's not saying nothing. I'm like, why are you nervous? I'm the
Yeah.
one who should be nervous, but it's just that adrenaline,
Yeah.
that feel that you get when you want to be successful. He was.
I'll
wanting
tell
to
you
do that.
something else. So I've learned that in these latter years, I am more interested now in giving my clientele that experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The first thing when
Sharing it.
when Grindstone won the Derby, going to the Derby again, the first thought was, after all these years and all the planning and everything that went into the breeding and everything and the selection, I put Bill Young in Overbrook Farm, where every
my
man in
gosh.
America wants
Wanted
to
it.
be
Oh
at
my
6:30 on the first Saturday in
That's
May.
right.
Yeah.
I walked down, and he was on the infield grass, the turf course there, and wanted to go to the winner's circle with me. And I could tell he was having
He's,
an out of body experience.
Yeah, out of body experience. And and there's
But
a
he
man
had,
that's
so
who-
many great experiences with you. I mean, that was this. That was
Yeah.
always those silks and stuff. Everybody wanted to see those
Overbrook.
silks. Oh my God.
Well, Gene Klein with the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
Same, yeah.
Now here's a guy that was trying to win the Super Bowl. That was his lifetime goal. When he won the Kentucky Derby, he said, "I no longer have to have that chase, that dream of the Super
Really?
Bowl." He said,
Yeah.
"I've done it. I've done what.
This is the Super Bowl.
This is it."
Hey,
And,
maybe we need some Kentucky Derby rings
yeah,
instead of
hand
Super
them
Bowl
out.
rings.
That would be
Yeah.
nice, yeah.
You know.
But he said, I probably am going to give up football to experience this in a bigger way.
Right.
Of course, his health got him, but he really planned to do that.
Well, and health can get us all, so we need to do it while we can.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it needs to happen, because health can get us the next day. We all know that.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that
No
we're
guarantees
that
in
we're going to
life,
do it
and,
tomorrow. That's
we
don't want to say that we're buying yearly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah. We don't
Yeah,
want to buy
couple
green
more years
bananas.
at least, yeah. At least 2 more.
Well, it looks like they've got an amazing bunch of horses here, and I know what you look for in a horse. I'd like you to tell people that don't know anything about it, when a yearling comes out, and knowing they're just yearlings, what's the first thing that you look for?
Well, actually, when they come out, it's like a beautiful woman that walks in a room. You don't have to have everybody tell you she's good looking. But I've got a set of parameters that I use that I am very careful with, but I am big on the balance of a horse, obviously. And I think that the neck is the most important thing. I
We've
think
learned that from
I
you.
have never had a good horse that had a
With
short neck.
Well, their necks are striped.
That's funny.
And
you say
I believe that the neck has to tie in tight into the withers, because I think when it ties low, it throws too much weight over the front end, and it inhibits the stride, and I call that the stride box. I want the neck all the way down to where the
freeze up those
forearm
shoulders to move
freeze
forward.
up. I want that freedom.
Yep.
So I go to the neck. I want a good head.
Yeah.
I want a horse with a kind eye
too.
and a good head, because I think where we're going to go, he's going to be tested.
And, pictures are going to be taken.
I like obviously a good hip and a shoulder. Those are givens. But I have always thought that a horse has to have a strong loin. That area right in front of the hip, that muscle. All good athletes have a strong back, whether it's basketball, football, halfback, anybody. So I like that loin. I want that loin muscle. If they're void of that loin muscle, I'm a little suspect.
Right.
So I look for that. I want some muscle tone. By that I mean I want him to
Little
look like
forearm
an
to it,
athlete.
and-
Yeah, I
and-
want him to
yeah,
look like
like
an
an
athlete.
athlete.
I don't want him to be fat and sloppy. I
Right.
want him to look like it. You know, I could maybe breeze him, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
he's got to have a little muscle tone.
Yeah.
I want good feet, and I never buy a horse that's back of the knee. By
Right.
that I mean when their knees lock backwards, their calf knee, as some people
Mhm.
call it.
Right.
He watch out on those knees
Mhm.
because that's the spot that usually goes to hell
Mhm.
for you,
Yeah. And concussion puts that
for
on
sure.
a little
Right.
harder, and,
Yeah.
and
All that weight's on one leg at one
Mhm.
time.
yeah. So, and now all of this balance depicts on how they move.
Absolutely. I made a comment that's been repeated a lot. They asked me years ago what I thought, and it just came to me. I said, I want her to have a head like a princess. I want her to have a butt like a fry cook and a walk like a hooker. I want her to swing.
And they all have that.
Yeah, I want them to have that,
that slinging
that swing when they walk because they're overreaching.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, for Randy and I, we've learned all that from you. I'd like to, tell
Oh, yeah.
all our viewers and listeners what it's all about. We live by that. We live by all those exact rules. And, and we've seen these back ends be in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but we found, one of the horses that proved a lot to me was Dance Floor. I watched him there when you had him, and he didn't quite have the hip that your
Right.
horses have, right?
Right.
But he had a withers and a shoulder that was incredible.
He had a very deep through there.
Mhm.
And then
What's the odds of Dance Floor being owned by MC Hammer?
Right.
He was named before we got it.
He
Really?
was?
Yeah, they didn't name him.
They
Yeah.
didn't?
Well, that's funny. That just, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
It was meant to be that way. But that horse said to me, I think these hips can come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but the one ingredient you got to have is exactly that shoulder, that withers, the way that neck ties in, and that freedom up front for that reach.
You got to be
And,
careful they don't get long in the back.
Yes. Yeah.
I take a measurement from between their ears at the pole
Uh-huh.
to the point of the wither,
Right.
and then take it from the wither and measure it to where the hip bone is placed. Get a
Mhm.
line up there. Those should be equal. If they're not,
Not
it's
balanced.
okay, but don't buy one where the neck is shorter than that back
Right.
measurement.
Yeah.
If it's going to not be accurate, not be exactly the same,
Right. You
make
want
sure that the neck
back
is
is
longer
longer
and the back is
on that.
shorter.
Well, it's a lot of balance of a horse. And,
Oh,
when those necks
absolutely.
go, horse can't even move.
I know it.
Yeah. So, with all that in mind, that gets us a sounder horse.
For sure.
And some longevity.
Mhm.
Your
The
horses have
longevity, the
longevity,
thing
yeah.
is, nowadays with the purse structure, this again throwing it out to new people.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
purse structure is so strong. In the 80s, we would try to buy horses, and we hoped that through purse structure, winning races, we could pay for them.
Right.
That was tough. Now, with the purse structure like it is and where it's at, you can give a lot for a horse and
Yeah.
and get out on him
Right.
because those purses are way up there.
Oh, we just watched a
Like
race
yesterday,
that some friends of ours ran in a $1.7 million race at
Kentucky
Kentucky Downs.
Good downs.
And, and I was giving kudos to Keelan how the sales division is putting money into purses at different racetracks, not just their own racetrack.
Yeah.
Helping this whole industry so that when you do buy a horse, you can get out.
Well, those CDs are gathering a lot of mold.
Yeah, they
up
are,
there.
aren't
They're
they?
getting moldy, and they've been there since the 40s. And I always said Ted Bassett. I said, when you open the safe, does it slam on your hand when you try to pull one
Should
out,
have its
or
own
how does that
automatic.
work? Come on.
Oh yeah, it's the sale did $700 million last year.
Isn't that
Yes, sir.
something?
When you think about that, that's almost $1 billion. So what kind of industry do we have? We have a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, for sure.
And with the right team, and you always have a team. I mean, that's why they call you the coach. You made a team
Yeah.
Well,
on that, and it makes it all happen.
You guys have been amazing, though, at buying unproven yearling horses at the end of a shank and then exposing them as 2-year-olds in the 2-year-old market. Now, here's the deal. I've told a lot of people this. I want to buy the yearlings because I said nobody knows if they can run or not. When no guys get them, they blow down there, and everybody can read the stopwatch. They all know the difference between 10 and 2 and 10 flat. You don't have to know anything.
Sure. Yeah. Now it's 9 and 3.
9
yeah,
and
now
3.
it's 9 and 3,
Yeah.
and we're probably soon to see 9 and 2. But we do a different thing than you do, and we have to really kind of watch our P's and Q's getting these horses to breeze early. And some of them are late foals, maize, and so forth like that. So we hardly breeze at the farm. We just do a lot of conditioning, a lot of 2-minute licking. We don't even own a watch. If they can run, they can run.
Yeah,
It drives Dean insane.
They're bred to run.
Yeah,
they're bred to run, and you're buying a horse that wants to run.
Yeah,
they're going to show up.
Yeah,
but that breeze is indicative. I mean, Bob Baffert's taking that to an art form. He just sits there, and the 3 of the fastest ones,
he takes them home.
He tells his client that this
is the one.
Yeah, this is the one. Buy this one.
And then wins grade ones.
Yeah,
wins grade ones. We've been pretty blessed with having 162 graded stakes winners and 20 individual grade 1 winners, several Derby winners.
It doesn't surprise me.
I mean, champions. Never in my life did I ever think we'd ever get to that level. But again, I say this because Randy and I took probably 3 years of following you around.
That's flattering. I didn't. Yeah. I knew you were always there. I'd love to see you. I didn't know you were taking notes.
Well, look, who else was there to follow around except for the number 1?
That's right.
Well, it's changed, hasn't it? When I first came to the sales, I remember telling Ted Bassett, I said, let's just put the pedigrees up and let them bid on the pedigrees. Why bring the horses? We'll go look at them next week after you buy the pedigree page. Everybody was so caught up in the pages and what was on without looking at the horse. And I thought, geez, I started just buying good individuals.
Is it true?
Is it true? Yeah. Blue Jean Baby. She was out of an Idaho mare. I started buying individuals.
You bought Yes Is True also, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes Is True. And Is It True didn't have the pedigree
at all.
No.
To do what he did.
Just a grand looking horse.
Well, do you know?
That's how he got his name, right?
Yeah. That's exactly right. We turned to everybody and I said, what's he by? And they said, he's by Raja Baba. And everybody said, who the hell's that? And I said, well, we're going to find out if it's true or not.
That's good. Well, Is It True produced a quarter horse. 1. And you know what his name is? Derenzo. And guess what? Yeah. We won the world.
He was a
Really?
How about that?
He was the
first. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is terrific. That's where my heart is with those damn horses.
He was the first quarter horse to win the world by a thoroughbred stallion.
Yep.
Wow.
Made history that way. And Derenzo is the man that trained him, right? Standing right over there. Charlie Dobbs.
Absolutely.
And then the next year, that son of a gun breeds that mare to another one of our stallions that we thought a lot of, City Place, and gets another great horse.
He was by Stormcat.
Guess what his name was? Hartley. So we had them both.
Yeah. Pretty good advertisement.
Just for fun.
My heart's with those quarter horses anyhow. My wife won't let me go to the sale.
Nobody loves a good-looking quarter horse.
You will come home with.
Yeah, she says you cannot go. She said we'll have a whole string of those things again.
Well, unfortunately, my wife does go to the sale, and I have a string of them.
In fact,
so does Randy.
Mine's up in Colorado showing this week.
She told me that.
Getting ready for the World Show.
Yeah, because I knew she had an iPhone.
Yeah,
and I figured I can text her.
I just want a lowing to buy.
I'm with you.
That's Randy. Yeah. That's Randy's deal there.
Yeah.
But there was the 68 years in the business. What do you foresee the evolution of racing? How do you think it's going to roll? Purses can get better?
I think the purses are going to get better because they're making it so easy to bet.
Yeah.
On any sport event.
Sit in your backyard.
Yeah. I can call you up and you're driving to work and I can say, look, I like my horse in the third, and you got
bet it. Yeah.
So I think that the purses will get better because of the betting. Again, we're a victim of what happens, what they do. I do think that the small tracks are going to suffer.
Yeah.
I think that the HISA thing has been so hard on everybody. It really has. They've got to tweak it. It's really hurting the little guy a lot. And if
I don't think it was meant to be that way.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
We all thought we were signing up for something entirely different than we got.
For the welfare of the horse.
But the small tracks, I think, will suffer. I think we may get to where there's 4 or 5 big major tracks. And that's going to make the price of horses go up because, everybody will want, if we don't have a big selection and can use, the
supply and demand.
Here's the beautiful thing about thoroughbred industry. You can buy a horse, I don't care what you give for him, any level. And if you're realistic, you can find a spot where he is successful.
Right.
You can find if he's worth 10,000, 100,000, $1 million.
Right.
You can find a spot where he's, if you're realistic, where he can work to get your investment back. That's the beautiful part of it. The thing about it is every one of them, here's what I did in the 70s.
When you were bidding 2.2 million?
No. I looked at it and I told my son, I said, I think the best thing that could happen to us is if we make every one of our clients successful. Now, all of these horses are not going to be able to run at Santa Anita. So let's start evaluating them. And if there's 10 or 12 that can't cut it at Santa Anita, let's send them to, at that point, Omaha.
Right.
Or Monmouth Park.
And open the stable there.
Yes, and we did. And then we started getting a few more. So now Monmouth Park had 40. I had 40 at Santa Anita. All of a sudden we had 40 at Belmont. And a lot of records fell and a lot of good things happened. But the bottom line was...
taking care of the owners.
The owners were all of them in the black.
Yeah.
They were winning.
They were winning and they were making money.
Yeah. And
I always said the ones owners that I get along the best with are those that smile at Saturday in the winter circle and go to the bank on Monday.
Yeah, that is fantastic. I mean, that's, we haven't gotten to the racing end very much ourselves because we sell so many 2-year-olds, and we felt like it could be a little conflict of interest. Somebody may tell us, maybe they're going to keep the good ones for themselves.
There is no question about it. That's going to happen to you.
So we've always stayed straight up.
You guys are too good a horseman. People are going to question it. They're going to say, why are they selling this? And I tried to pinhook and get in your game.
I remember that too.
One time.
At Barrett's, right?
Yeah.
One time.
Yep. I remember.
And everybody said, what the hell he's doing? He's in the racehorse business. Why would he sell this one? Yeah, I got them all back.
Yeah. And nobody had a better looking consignment, I could tell you that.
They were good horses.
Remember a bunch of Stormcats.
Yeah, they were nice.
You talk about Stormcat. I mean, you knew you had a certain vet that would scope those horses. Am I correct? Dr. Copeland. Right.
Copeland was my guy.
He was your guy.
But he was pretty critical. We had a lot of...
But he knew what throats worked on that horse, did he not?
Yeah, he knew what we could live with and what we couldn't.
Right.
He's an outstanding vet. If you're here at the sale, though, and we get a colt out here and we have 4 vets scoping on the...
And get 4 different opinions.
We're going to get 4 different opinions.
Right.
And then 2 months from now, the left side nerd will go to hell and his flapper will drop in there and we're talking about a tieback,
Yep. But
you can't, there's no way to predict. You hope to get that perfect throat.
Yeah, but that's one thing that can go bad.
And they can go overnight.
Like Steve Alday said, some people call it strawberries.
Yeah.
But we take big emphasis in throats.
You need to.
No air, no horse.
Well,
no foot, no horse.
People go to your consignment. They expect to get the horse that's ready to run and doesn't have a fault.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in trouble if they got some hang up.
Yeah, and we don't do good with those.
No, really,
at all. And,
nobody does. But people are going to look you in the eye and say, I'm not gonna. I don't even. There's guys here, consigners. I don't vet them.
Right.
I don't vet horses here. I look at the guy and say, is this horse all right? Is there something I should know? And they'll start hedging. I say, okay, what is it? Or they'll say, you don't need to worry, Wayne. He's 100%.
Right. Well, we have done some things that probably people thought we were crazy. I one time told somebody he had a little pimple on his throat. I said, look, we guarantee this horse 100%. You take this horse home, or we'll take him home for you and get it over with. And if you don't like anything you see, we'll take him back on a handshake. 1.2 million.
A storm cat colt.
And guess what? They said they didn't want him. Things changed in their life. Didn't want him.
Yeah.
I took him back. We took him back, I should say. Half of that was $600,000 his money too. On that. And everybody said, "You're crazy. Why would you do that?" Because we shook hands.
Yeah, you have to.
And that's what it was all about. And you know, the very next sale, that man was the underbidder at $1,050,000 on a horse because he trusted our what we said. And so that's a big thing for us.
You're only gonna that dishonesty will only go one time.
Yeah, one time. And if I had to be the dishonest, it better be for about 100 million, not one. And I don't think that's going to happen. But we were pretty fortunate to sell some big horses, and we've always had great years, and thank God for that. There, but you are absolutely my idol.
Oh, you're kind to say that.
Well, it's the truth,
and the best caretaker,
greatest horseman I've ever seen,
and the best caretaker. Nobody takes care of a horse like you.
They asked me the other day. We've had I think 19 world champion fillies, and they asked me how come. Yeah, they say how come you've had so many fillies? Rather, we've had 20. Well, we had 49 world champions, 23 quarter horses, and 26 thoroughbreds, and they say, how come the majority's fillies? And I told them, I said, it's very simple. A filly is unforgiving. Now think about that. A filly is unforgiving. When you're training a filly, you have to be a little careful. You can knock a stud around a little bit. You can be a little rougher with them. You can ask him to do things. You can make a mistake in the gate and take him back the next day and kick him out again and again. But you overdo it with a filly,
you're done.
And they're very unforgiving.
Very much like a wife.
Yeah, yes, very much. And I've had lots of those. But that's the thing. We pamper the hell out of those fillies.
Well, you know, that's something great to think about, you know, on that.
And just coming in your barn, you know, there's no other stables, and Dean and I talk about it all the time. Nobody's stable looks like your stable.
Well, that comes from back when I first started out. I thought I want it to look like when your client walks by, he stops and says, "Who the hell is that?"
Right. What is that?
That's just pure marketing. That's just marketing.
But your horses are bedded down this deep.
Oh yeah, we're going to take care of them.
The straw looks like they've placed it in. It's just,
you had a fantastic filly for us.
Yeah.
And boy, did she produce. Have you seen her produce?
Yeah, I've seen it in the catalog.
Oh my God.
Boom, boom.
Unbelievable. Yeah. She's had grade 1 winner after grade 1 winner, and those grade 1 winners had grade 1 winners.
Yeah, 7th Street
on that, and she just kept rolling through there. And you know, when she sold in foal for $2.4 million, and she died foaling that next year.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah. So we had not had her at that time, and she had died that next year. Right after that.
I know, it was sad.
Yeah, it was sad to lose what I'm making a pedigree.
But her fillies are still going.
Well, you know, it's funny how
you beat the boys with her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Derby Day.
Yes. The thing you get a mare like Serena Song.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, I think we counted up the other day. She kicked out $28 million worth of foals.
Wow!
You know, I mean that's
huge.
America, get one like her.
Exactly.
Right. I mean,
she ran out $2.5 million. Then she kicks out about $30 million worth of foals.
Unbelievable.
And a beautiful filly.
Yeah, she was a good one.
Yeah, there was so many good ones, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, just
I only bred one. I don't try to breed horses. I feel like they do a better job. I'll go by here this week and find somebody I like. But I got Great Lady M when I was in Atlantic City. I bought her after a claiming race, and I loved her. I got her to run it a little better than they thought she could, and next thing you know, I bred her to Secretariat, and I got this ratty little nothing filly.
Yeah, but she was a good one, and I
Yeah,
know
she-
exactly who she is.
She proved to me that size and how they look is at the bottom line. Boy, Lady Secret.
Yeah, we
11
actually had.
We have a family member
11
of her.
grade ones.
Wow.
We have a half sister to Lady Secret sister, right?
Yep.
A sister of hers.
Mhm.
We named her after my sister who passed away, and we named her Donnie Secret. And now she just finished, and I guess you know what? Heavenly Secret's got to go here.
Yeah.
That's where we go. So she produced a California Derby winner for us.
Uh-huh.
She produced great for us, and we kept the last filly. She's
Oh, good.
she's 2-year-old by Practical Joke, and we named her Heavenly Secret.
Wonderful.
And I think it needs to go to you.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it needs to go, right there. That's
I'll
where
get
she
my
needs
card.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got your number. We're
Yeah, man.
good with that. I may get you a cell phone though for that would.
Yeah. Well, I got to get home. I got
Well, we're gonna wrap this up then.
I got Major Brady Lucas over here.
Oh, yeah.
We sent him to the Air Force Academy, and he's turning out pretty good. And he's just recently
your
a father.
grandson.
Yeah, right there.
I met him last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's my driver, and my he keeps me really lined out at the sale.
He looks
so-
like he can keep you lined out.
Yeah. So
All right.
we're going to take off.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up with leading the way, Mr. Wayne Lukas, the legend. Randy and I, thank you very much. If you like what you see, follow us on Leading the Way Instagram.